Hello everyone, this is Plankera, and welcome to my universe. Today, we're going to continue rigging Shalom from Path to Nowhere. So, last time I just did a bunch of work on the side bang here, and I'm going to continue doing that today, but I want to try a couple more things with the eyes. I still don't quite like how this eye in particular is like rotating a bit when I turn it to the side. And I know why that's happening. It's because I put a little bit of a rotation on the upward turn. And while I do like the way that rotation works, if I cannot get it to work with the corner, then that probably means I can't have it. And it's very sad. So I'm going to try lessening it a little bit. So I'll keep it a little. Just make it a little bit less strong. See how that works out? I think it still looks okay. And now let's see how it works over here. Yeah, that's already a lot better. So, yeah, as the case may be, I may just not be able to have the eyes rotating the way I want for that top view. But so far that's better, so I'll see how I feel about it tomorrow. And in the meantime, I'm gonna go back to rigging the hair. All the hair. Okay. So, I think I have the top part of this strand looking pretty good. Just a few corrections here and there that I want to make. Mostly around this little strand that's been giving me a bit of trouble. It tends to, so this is hardly unexpected. But it's alright. I'll get it there. It just might take me a couple of tries. Man, I gotta say, yesterday was quite a thing. I think I've been getting sick, and yesterday I was just extremely out of it. Hello there, Inochi2D. How are you doing today? You are here. It's always nice to have you here. I'm just going in and fixing up some hair. Before I go in and fix up some more hair. Always fixing up hair. Just so much hair. So much hair. Aw, it's a cute bear. Very cute. Thank you. Alright, so what I'm looking at with the strand here is I feel like the top part of it got pushed a little bit to the left, so I'm pulling it back over to the right. Trying to do it fairly slowly. Oh, I see. Well, good morning then, Ciciabello. So yes, trying to push that the top of that strand over to the right just a little bit. See if that fixes some of these problems. Looks like it is. And the best part is that it's letting me make the strand look a little bit more curved too, which I think is making it look a little bit nicer. So it's always nice when these things just kind of work out. I see. Well, I hope you're able to have lots of fun with him. Okay, There we go. I think that's looking a lot better. Let me see how it looks from the downward view. Yeah, I think that's working. Maybe I pushed it a little bit too far back over to the right. Let's see here. Straighten out some of these things over here and go back into everything. Well, I have found that siblings are terrible at listening to each other, so I'm not too surprised. Oh, that's unfortunate. I hope we're able to. Good luck, friend. Alright, I think I've lined up that strand with the left head turn, but it's not quite lining up with the top, so I'm going to go move it around here. Is that your brother or your doll? How am I doing today? I'm doing pretty good. Other than probably being a little bit sick. Definitely better than I was doing yesterday, so... Still a bit stuffy, so my voice feels a bit nasally to me, but... I'm sure it'll be fine. Thank you. It's alright, I'm doing well overall. That's fine. It's like if I was dying, I wouldn't be here, but I am here, and I get to work on the model today, so life is good. Okay, there we go. I think that's all doing much better now. So now I can go back down to the lower part. So as I've said before, any day I get to work on art stuff is a good day. So, life is good. Am I sad? No. Like I said, my nose is just a little bit stuffy, so I probably sound a bit strange. But today is a good day. I do very much enjoy working on the model. So here, I noticed that the strand between the highlight and the side was a little bit thick, so I'm trying to make it a little bit thinner. Always a tricky balance. It's pretty hard to upset me, don't worry about it. Like I said, any day I get to work on my art is a good day. That's why I'm here. Every day. Because I want to work on stuff every day. It's wonderful. So I think for this part, I'm going to try to line it up with the left first, and then I'll worry about the top. Just because I think it's going to take some shenanigans to even line it up with one direction. So I'm going to do one, and then I'll go back and do the other. And hopefully I'll be able to line them up well that way. So far, so good. Lining it up with the left side here. Just having the change come with her head tilting upward here. A lot of the time I tend to do both at once, and sometimes I think that's easier, but what I'm really concerned about is getting the vertical alignment of the tip of the strand right. And I think that's easier because I know that it has to move here, whereas from this direction it shouldn't actually be moving vertically. It should just look like it's rotating. So I want to line everything up with here where the tip actually moves upward before I worry about anything else. Alright, so some of what I was noticing while I was moving back and forth here, especially around the very base of the shadow here, I noticed that some parts were kind of shifting downward. So that's why I moved a whole bunch of stuff upward there. And I think it's doing a little bit better, but I'm still seeing some shifting downward right around here. Might have to go in and consult the mesh for its advice soon. This is one place where I can see that the spacing on the vertices in the mesh when I made it were not very consistent. Which makes sense because the level of detail in the various parts of this strand is wildly different. So it was probably hard to keep it pretty consistent. But I am paying for it slightly now in that I don't know how far apart a lot of these vertices should be. So I'm kind of having to guess and then check. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Now some parts are actually shifting upward a little. So that's good. That means I got everything in about the right spot. I think this is where I can go in and start consulting the mesh a little bit. So let's see what the mesh has to say today. Where do all these vertices need to be going in order for me to have them all in the right place here? Okay. So doing pretty alright on this top area, it looks like. It's like most of them have to move, so I'm trying to make it so that the distance between them stays relatively constant. There's only a few where that's not true. So let's see if I can get them somewhere. Let's see if I can get them to where they need to be. Okay, before I move further down, I want to make sure that I have, like, this area here looking pretty good. Okay, that red spot here needs to be just ever so slightly lower. That'll probably be like right here or so. Straighten out the triangles on the way. And everything there should be good in theory. Yes. Should be good once I straighten out this top part here. Fortunately, top part a little bit hard to control because of how it was meshed, but I think that should do it. I just want to do a quick test from over here. But yeah, looking good. Huzzah. Okay. So now, it's gonna be where all the shadows and highlights meet in this area. That is the area that I need to get next. And oh my, it's all squirming all over the place. So I think I will just directly consult the mesh here as opposed to trying to figure it out myself. The other part I could largely see a lot of what was going on, but here is just a little bit trickier. Here there's a lot going on. Not so much in terms of the number of vertices, there really aren't that many, but in terms of the amount of detail in the hair. I have to care about the shape of the outside, and then I have all of these little textures in the middle, all wanting to do things. And I have to keep track of every single one of them. Not a problem, though. Just gotta go in there and make sure that each little vertex can find a happy home. Find out where each and every one belongs, and the kind of angles on their sides that they're looking for. The one over here is actually surprisingly steep. I think that threw me off for a little bit there. You can see even here, I do not think I have the correct amount of steepness for it. It's supposed to be like way over here, or something like that. And then these two are surprisingly close. They probably didn't much care that I was like separating them from their friends or something. So hopefully they're a little bit happier over there. Okay, and I can see when I turn here, it kind of looks like some things are going up a little bit higher. That might actually be okay, because her head is kind of tilting back just a little bit here, which would mean that this side needs to be a little bit lower and this side needs to be a little bit higher. So that change might actually make sense here. Let's see how it looks with the chin. I know I said that I was going to get the entire bit compared to the left head turn first, but I guess my brain changed its mind, so here we are. It's okay, I'll let it indulge. It's fine. Well, yeah, so far so good, I think. Alright, going back in. Going back in. Alright, let's see what the mesh has to say again. Because I can tell there's still something off in that shadow area. But I'm not quite sure what at the moment. I'm still really looking forward to testing all this. Just plopping it into the tracking program and seeing how it all looks when I actually move my head around. I think we're probably still a few weeks off from that, though, based on how quickly I'm going through each of these corners. I've not finished the first one yet, so it's okay. It's all about hair. The hair just takes a long time to get through. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't getting a little bit impatient. Just so many things that I want to do after the head turns that I am very excited about. Welcome back, Edgy Kitty. I'm still here, still rambling about hair. Always so much just to say about hair. Oh, a sheep now. Sheep are pretty cute. They're very fluffy. All right. Oh, that's very nice, the little lamb. Alright, I think I'm getting down to the last few details of the hair here. And then, hopefully, be able to just work my way down the tip and all will be well. I think I might do the other side too. Just get some of these hard parts out of the way. And then the rest will just be fairly easy. Although maybe I should be doing easy parts when I'm sick. Who knows? We'll see what my brain feels like doing once I finish this. I will just go with whatever decision my brain feels like doing. Suppose there's not much point in just forcing myself to go a particular direction, since I have to get all of the hair done anyway. Can do it in whatever order makes sense. Okay. Back to looking at the mesh, because I can see that there's... How should I describe it? So there's like a part right through here that's getting all squiggly when I move up. So you can see things get a little bit thick over here. There's like a little bump there. And then at the bottom, things are really straight right here. But when I go up, there's also a little bump right here. So I need to figure out where these spots are supposed to be going. And it looks like it's actually pretty straightforward what's going on here. That's good. Always nice when it's fairly straightforward. It just means that I can focus on getting these areas to follow the angles a little bit better, and probably don't need to consult the mesh so much. I can just look at the art itself and try to follow those angles. It was funny, when I was younger, I always remember hearing good artists talk about angles, and at the time I just didn't understand why everybody was so obsessed with them. But now I understand. Angles are so important. They're everything. They're just kind of what define the world. Because it's like if you look at the front view here, you can see that this all the way here is actually pretty straight. It's practically a straight line. There's no various bumps or anything, and then it's not until down here that the angle changes again, and then again. So I'm trying to get that kind of shape here too, where it's going to be a little point right here, and then very, very straight, just all the way down to probably about there. So that tells me that I need to be pulling these vertices out a little bit more. Make this entire side here a little bit straighter. And hopefully that'll fix a lot of those issues. Guess that's another thing to consider when I get stuck. When I get stuck, follow the angles, follow the mesh. They both have excellent ideas. And they can tell me where I need to go. Hello again, Luminance. How are you doing today? As for me, it's still hair. It'll always be hair. Don't worry about it. It's alright that you're a little bit late. I'm just glad you're here at all. So I think I'm still a little bit sick, but I'm doing better than I was yesterday. I was super out of it yesterday. But yes, still just doing hair. Because Shalom's hair is very, very complicated. Same, and thank you. It's okay, I'm doing better at the whole actually doing stuff while talking at the same time thing. I'm not just getting lost in everything that I'm trying to say. Please ignore that I'm tripping over my words somewhat right now. I swear it's better. So right now I'm trying to define the outer edge of this hair strand. I was just talking about how if you look at the front view here, that the side here is actually quite straight. Very, very straight. And then it changes angles down here. And then over here. And that kind of what makes that curve. But especially on this side, it's actually very, very straight. So I'm trying to get that same feeling up here, where the outer edge here is very, very straight. And the part over here is a little bit more curved. But for some of that, I need to pull some things over. So I've just been gradually making those little movements to hopefully get things to where they need to go. Oh, alas. Let's see, I might be able to enable PayPal or something on it, but, what, payment method were you hoping to use? Because I will figure that out. 'Cause yeah, I'm trying to think of some, but I can't actually think of very many over the internet that doesn't require some kind of credit card. But if there is one that you had in mind, I will look into it. Alright, and with me pulling some things over to make the strand a little bit straighter here, having to pull some things over to the side there in the middle too. So let's see here. Yeah, I can kind of see it squirming a bit because of that change, but I think it's for the best. Let me zoom out and see how the angles are shaking out now. Let's see, is the angle here good? Actually, no. It actually isn't. Okay. So I noticed that the angle on the left head turn is a little bit more curved than I think it should be. And it's probably affecting what I can do in the upper left head turn. So I'm gonna go make a few corrections here as well. Yes. Well, if you ever have a method in mind, just let me know, and I'll try to find a way to enable it. I certainly will not say no to money. So trust me, I will find a way to make it work. Because it's like I do have PayPal and Stripe, but I'm pretty sure both of those are also credit card processors. So I am not sure of any other way over the internet. Just because I don't know of it does not mean it does not exist, of course. And in the meantime, I'll just keep making nice stuff. Because I do have fun doing that. Yesterday I decided to have a nice nap, but today I am hoping to start on my piece for the anniversary contest, the Path to Nowhere anniversary contest, after stream today. So I get to do some model stuff and some drawing. Well, sure, why not? I am sure that inspiration will strike you regardless of whether you don't donate to me, but donations are appreciated nonetheless. Actually, it does remind me of how I've been taking inspiration as I've become more consistent with actually producing art. And I think some people forget that creativity, and even just creativity itself, not just the act of producing art, is a skill in and of itself. And it's like, sure, you can wait for inspiration, but that sounds terrible. You can also learn to make it come to you. Like, the act of being able to get that inspiration, learning how to get it, is also a skill that you can practice. It sounds really weird to say, because inspiration is a bit random, and that is true. But, let me see, I think author Stephen King put it a good way, in that you want to set up a little house for your inspiration. Make it comfortable, invite it in. And to do that, you actually do need to properly set it up. Part of that, I think, is routines. So, like, for him, that is writing at a specific time every day. For me, that's drawing at a specific time every day. Specific times work well. I know they work well for some people. I'm not sure if they do for everyone. I'd actually find it very unlikely that it would for everyone. But, yes. But yes, part of it really is just setting up your life so that not only can you capitalize on it when it strikes, but you can start thinking of ways to invite it into the little house that you're making for it. Just invite it inside, as opposed to waiting for it to come inside. After all, if you ask the average person, it's very rude to go into somebody else's house, you know? So you gotta make room for it, and you gotta invite it in. And learning how to invite it in is something that you can practice. Brainstorming and idea generation, and just... I think the biggest way that I've been able to do it is learning how to iterate on ideas a little bit more quickly. Inktober actually helped me be able to do that better. So that this way you can kind of go through the ideas that aren't as good a little bit more quickly and get to the ones that are a little bit more quickly as well. It's a process that's a little bit hard to describe. I'd need a moment to collect my thoughts there. But learning how to harness your inspiration and bring it into your life and get more of it is something that you can learn. That's basically what I'm trying to say. You can practice. You just gotta make a point of doing art very frequently. Regardless of whether that's a visual art or a written art or whatever kind of art you can think of. That's why I tend to refer to them as creative projects instead of art, because, especially since I'm a visual artist, people can get confused. Well, I appreciate it, but at the same time, remember, I am just a person on the internet. An anime girl on the internet. Maybe trusting me as much as your mom is not, the best idea. But I appreciate the sentiment. Oh yes, sorry, I rambled a little bit, just because it bothers me that people seem to think that art boils down to talented genius and all these other abstract things, when really that has never been my experience. It's all about figuring out how to do things, and for as dumb as brains can be, they're pretty smart. They'll figure it out if you make it do it enough times. And then I think to an extent there's a lot of science involved in figuring out what works for you. My anecdote for that is how I learned how to draw. Pretty much everyone that I was seeing, all the art advice that I was getting was, you know, draw some sketchy lines and figure out where you're going to put things and then clean it up from there. But that never really worked for me because I can't see volumes in lines very well. But I can in silhouettes. So, I started, instead of drawing, like, lines like I was gonna make light art and how most people think of sketching, just large blobs of colors and shapes. And those made sense to me. So I was able to find a process that works for me via that, instead of what most people think of sketching. And it took me a long time to figure out how to do that, because I was trying to draw in lines for a long time, and it just was not working. This is why if you look through pretty much any of my art, whether, the stuff that I posted on Twitter or any of the places that I upload onto the internet, that I do not use line art and the like. I just have... I just have, more painted styles or lineless styles. And that's because that was the method that I found that actually worked for me. And it took much trial and error to find it, but I was so happy once I found it. How to be consistent. I think the first step is just to get started. So, basically to make a decision in your head that you want to learn how to draw. And let me see, from there, I don't think you necessarily have to draw every day, but I do recommend it if you are able to, if you have the time to do so. You'll definitely see faster improvement, and you'll be able to draw more things if you draw more frequently, as you might imagine. But even if you don't necessarily have that much time, just making sure you set off a minimum amount of time to work towards something. I think that's a good way to do it. But I'd say the number one big thing that you need to have in order to be consistent is something you want to make. For me, it was pretty easy because I wanted to draw my characters. I had a bunch of original characters, and this is why I learned how to draw. I wanted to draw them so I could show them to people. Because it was pretty hard to find approximations via art on the internet. So I wanted to draw them myself. And so I think having something like that is also very helpful, of just a casual goal. Something that you want to be putting together. And if you can't get one of those, or if you don't have one of those at the very start, then finding a way that just feels good, I think, will also help, because art can have a lot of positive effects on mental health and that kind of thing. The effects are very well documented. So, yeah, just finding something that feels nice to do. Either a goal or just a way that feels nice. My days used to be a lot like that, too. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, as long as you're having fun playing the games. But I do think getting your mind to actually create things is probably better. Like I don't mean that in a super sarcastic way either. Because playing a bunch of games when I was younger actually did kind of help formulate a lot of my ideas and beliefs about the world and aesthetics and stuff that ended up helping my art later. You can't ignore these things, as long as you're actually enjoying the games that you're playing. And I don't know how old you are, so But if you're a college student, I imagine like early 20s. So yeah, that was about the age where I was still putting together a lot of those things. And I too was probably spending a great amount of my day playing video games. There's actually a lot you can do for creativity by thinking about video games. Oh, high school student. Okay. Why did I think you said college student? Was that someone else? Apologies, I got my wires crossed. But yes, in terms of if you want to start bringing more creative thought into your life, you can even do it while playing video games. Just really analyzing why you like the game and why you don't like the game. Both things. Even if you are overall enjoying the game that you're playing, think about spots that aren't as good or parts that you didn't like as much. Think very critically about every little thing. And that can actually teach you how to make games yourself, if that is something you're interested in. Or even if it's not, just thinking critically about the media that you're consuming can give you some insight into how it's made and how you can make stuff on your own. I remember I started getting into game analysis quite a lot when I was younger, because I tried to have conversations with people about games, and they could not explain why they enjoyed a video game, and it bothered me. Bothered me immensely. So I wanted to make sure that I could explain why I liked games and why I did not like games. And it all started with arguments about Final Fantasy. Because I did not like Final Fantasy X, but all my friends did. Not familiar with that one, but I can kind of picture what it's like. So I can certainly see that. Yeah, the name reminded me of old Flash games. Used to play lots and lots of Flash games when I was in high school. This is how you know I'm old. Flash hasn't even been a thing for a long time since Adobe discontinued it. But I was one of those people that lurked on Newgrounds quite a lot. If you are aware of that piece of internet history. I haven't had as much time to play games lately, so most of what I play is just whatever I'm playing with my husband. We had just finished Baldur's Gate 3 recently. I kind of knew that I had to play that game because I played the originals when I was very young, so I wanted to play that, and now we're jumping back into the Factorio expansion, which is very exciting. We're probably going to go to space tomorrow, and that's also very exciting. It's okay. That's why I'm comfortable making the joke of me being what's the number? 17 billion years old. Wait, double check my number. Ah, yes. Apologies. 14 billion years old. The age of the universe. That's okay. Being 14 billion years old is pretty great. Everyone should try to live this long. But it's okay. The age of the universe is a hotly contested topic. Scientists are making arguments for various different numbers. Which, you know, makes sense to me, because asking a lady for her age is very controversial, don't you know? I'm glad you found me too. I'm glad more people seem to be finding me. I want to share all the things. And better yet, get more and more people to make things. I think that'd be pretty great. Because I gotta say that my life got a hell of a lot better once I started actually doing creative things more often. It was really hard at first, like, don't get me wrong. The beginning of all this, oh man, it took a lot out of me to even go for like an hour every day, and now I can go for like, I don't know. Man, if I ever have time to sit down, sometimes I can go for like 8+ without much of a problem. It's just I have kids and they don't let me. Not right now, anyway. They're both too little. It's like right now, I'm new enough to rigging that going for an hour is about all I can do without breaks. Like, with me just sitting here, moving my mouse the whole time, but with breaks, I remember that I could just poke around with it pretty much all day. That's basically what I did while I was working on my model here. Anytime the kids let me sit down, I just go poke at it. Hopefully. And even if they don't, they'll probably have different ones. I am happy to encourage them in whatever direction they want to go. They have both shown some interest in drawing, though. My walls can attest to it. I used to have white walls, I no longer do. But it's okay, I'm actually totally okay with them drawing on the walls. Ah, hello there, Vivi. How are you doing today? Oh yeah, whatever they feel like doing, I'm happy to encourage that. I want them to feel like they can do whatever makes them happy. Besides drawing on the walls, I have let my daughter use my old drawing tablet. And she likes that sometimes. She's not used to it, so she gets pretty frustrated. It's okay, that's the good thing about the internet, is that you can talk to people from all over the world. It is every time. Every hour of the day is here. Oh yeah, the vast majority of my streams are with 0 viewers. It's only recently that I've started to get viewers. If you go back and watch my old streams, I have them all in playlists. It's all me just talking to myself like a crazy person. That's alright, I had to start somewhere. Gotta say, it's a lot easier with the occasional person chatting, though. That I don't have to come up with everything that I'm saying all on my own. With the hopes that someday someone would be watching. I needed to have some stuff out there for people to see in order to get interested. And as long as I kept going, I figured that there'd be some people that stumbled across me that enjoyed what I was doing. So far, it seems like I was correct. So I was just doing my best. It's like I wasn't sure where it would go, but I figured that I'd give it a shot and see what happened, and now I'm more than halfway to 100 subscribers, which is pretty cool. Yep, now there's lots of things out there. That's why I have 200 videos on my channel, because I just come in and stream for an hour or two every day. But honestly, even when nobody was watching me live, I would get, very early on, I'd be lucky to get 5 views, but it didn't take too long before I was starting to get, 20 or 30 on most of my livestream VODs. So it was at least clear to me that people were taking a look at things. Looking through the analytics, I see that people, skip around a lot. But I figure that's pretty common with long processes like this, especially since I work fairly slowly. So even when there was no one watching live, it was nice to know that there were people checking out various things. I figured that there'd be people interested in seeing these, the process of, making art, making, the entire thing. A lot of people cut it out or speed it up. But I figured there'd be people out there that want to see the entire process, so I just kept going. Thank you. I do too. Like I said, I'm doing my best. I have a few ideas for various things I want to do in the future that I hope will help. So I am working on it. But for the time being, I don't mind just working on my skills a bit and making everything that I do a little bit better. Because I do feel like every day that I work on these things, I do get better. Yes, good luck, friend. I always love to have you here when you can make it, but if you can't, that's all right. Do your best. I will be here at the same time every day for the foreseeable future. Might have to change my time next year, but I'll cross that bridge when I get there. Because my daughter's going to be starting school next year, and that means I need a normal sleep schedule again. Because if I had my current sleep schedule with her in school, it's like I'd get to walk her in school, and then I'd walk her to school, and I'd probably be in bed before she got home. And at that point, I would basically just not be part of her life anymore, and that would be sad. So I figure it's normal sleep schedule time after that. Yes, they got a lot of candy. And I was very impressed with the older one because she started getting a bit of a tummy ache from eating too much candy, and she noticed this and stopped. Which I think is an impressive level of self-control for a 5-year-old. And I've discovered that my younger one, who is going to be 3 in January, likes sour candy. Which I was very surprised at. Most kids that age don't like sour things. But they've both been quite happy, and they've both been eating a lot of candy. That's okay, that's what the day after Halloween is for. Just eating a lot of candy. Yep. Basically. And they eat enough other good food that I'm not really worried about them eating a bunch of candy after Halloween. They'll run out eventually. It's fine. Oh yeah, Strand coming together. I think it's looking really good. Just gotta get that tip. How's it looking from this side? Pretty good. It eats, like, even, one thing that I really liked about the left head turn here was if you look at these shadows here, that they kind of turn over when her head turns. I liked the way that looked. I was pretty happy I was able to get that kind of effect. It's a very small, subtle thing, but it makes me happy. And it looks like I'm getting the same kind of thing when going from the top over to the top left. Little things in art that can just make you happy. Slight turns in the hair, heck yeah. what rigging's all about, those tiny little details. That just make everything look so much better. And just remembering some of my early attempts at this before I was able to do stuff like that, and... get a girlfriend. I'd say do things that involve socializing with people, and don't actively look for a girlfriend. Assuming I am reading your question correctly. Because it's like... when I hear stories of people that have stayed together for a long period of time, me included, we're approaching our 10-year anniversary soon. They didn't typically meet with the intention of dating. Like in the case of me and my husband, we met each other through a mutual friend. I joined a tabletop group that he happened to be GMing. So that's what happened. That's how we met, and I thought he was a pretty cool dude, and stuff happened. And that tends to be how I hear these stories go. So, unfortunately, I'd say the way to get a girlfriend is to have an active social life. It doesn't have to be a big one. Like, mind you, I never had very many friends, I just had very few, very close friends. But I did go out and do things with people sometimes. Unless you already have your eyes on a specific girl. That is how I would go about it. Just live life, do things, be a well-rounded, interesting person. And people will come. Eventually. And I suppose it's also worth mentioning that my perspective there will be biased based on where I live. Alas. Yeah. It's one of those things that I say takes time, but that's one of those things that probably won't help you very much in the moment. For what it's worth, I did not have a significant other in high school. I dated exactly one person in my life and I married him, so... And I didn't meet him until I was in my 20s. So here you go, more ancient history from 14 billion years ago. If we're talking high school, maybe 12 billion years ago. But yeah, I didn't have a significant other in high school either. Don't worry about it. Even if you can't find anyone in high school, as long as you're living a good life, it'll come. Someday. I guess the best way to look at it is be aware that it's something that you want to start a family, perhaps, or anything like that, and keep it in the back of your mind. Look for opportunities to strike. But otherwise, even if you're not actively pushing for it in the time being, as long as you keep doing interesting things with your life, you'll meet interesting people. And one of those might just become a girlfriend. And I'm not sure how it all works where you live, but I know for much of the Western world, you know, North America, Western Europe, places that I'm more familiar with, a lot of places people used to go to meet potential spouses and stuff are kind of drying up. You know, the third spaces that people usually described. So it is legitimately getting harder. So if you feel like you are having a hard time, it's not just you. Stuff about the world has changed, and the advice that your parents give, and by proxy that I give, may not always apply. Technology has changed the world very, very rapidly, and the human mind is having trouble keeping up. But good luck, friend. Yep. All you can do. Try to adapt. That's why I say, keep those thoughts in the back of your mind. Keep living life, try to be an interesting person. And when the opportunity shows itself, remember that it's something that you're looking for and just go for it. No fear, no humiliation. Don't be afraid to look like a total doof. Oh gosh. I was just remembering of, when I, how should I put it? Decided that I wanted to be more than friends with the person that would become my husband. Because, yeah, I made the first move, he didn't. I was the one that asked him out. And oh my goodness. After I did it, because I met him on the internet, we did not live in the same state or anything. So I just messaged him on IRC. More ancient chat programs. And I pretty much wanted to die afterward. I was so embarrassed. But it worked out. Yes. From the ancient realm of IRC. When internet relay chat was still a thing. Oh yeah, I pretty much wanted to die afterward. I was really embarrassed. It was so clumsy. But worked out. Worked out. We're still together. And if I hadn't said anything, it might not have happened, so... There you go. Sometimes you just gotta make things happen. Meanwhile, it looks like I'm almost getting to the tip here. Almost there. So it looks like I'll be able to finish off the strand today. That makes me happy. I think I have enough in me to finish it off. So I'm going to go and consult the mesh for its wisdom. See where these last little things that aren't quite working out need to be fixed. Actually, not doing half bad there. Let me see here. I just feel like there's still something off, like right up there. Yeah. Okay, I see it. Fortunately, a fairly straightforward fix. I think that is common for any parent, but I have heard that it is especially bad with Asian parents, yes. Yes. It's like, over here on the other side of the world, we call them boomers. It's like your parents will have some good advice, but it will not always be correct because the world is different. Some things are different. It's one of those things that's worth listening to and pulling the things that are worth it and actually make sense into your mind. Yes. So it's like, I don't think that they're always entirely wrong, but at the same time, there are things that are different. I think that's true for a lot of the human condition. It's like, if humans were that different, we wouldn't be able to study psychology. So humans overall do tend to be pretty similar to one another. But there are differences, and figuring out those differences and acknowledging them is part of figuring out what to do, I think. And my husband and I were actually talking about this the other day, when we were talking about writing waifus. And it's a long story on how that subject came up, but we were talking about classic literature in regards to writing anime waifus. And, when I was the first thing that I thought of when with classic literature was Pride and Prejudice, which I realized, like, a minute later was, wait, Pride and Prejudice is a love story. It was about a waifu. It absolutely is. And that book is like, what, from the 1800s? People, in a lot of ways, have not changed very much. We wrote waifus then, we write waifus now. It just, we no longer call her a waifu writing classic literature. That's why I say, a lot of human nature has remained constant. Some parts of it have changed. There are kernels of truth to be found in these ancient stories. But you can't really follow them one-to-one. Never forget that some highbrow literature really is just waifus. And see, this is also why I just draw the things I like, and don't worry about it. Yeah, and I mean the best part about the 2D girlfriend with the, classic literature? There weren't even any pictures. So it was the 2D girlfriend that you imagined. She could look however you wanted. It's okay, same. I should probably get myself some food here. I just finished the strand here, so that was good timing. Regardless, it was nice seeing you. Ah, good luck, friend. I hope you're able to have a lot of fun doing that and make something nice. And yes, this will also be where I end for today, I think, because I finished the strand that I wanted to finish, and I think things are looking pretty good. Most excellent. Glad I can make you happy. I'm pretty happy too. Life is great, man. Well, regardless, thank you all for coming. If you'd like me to take a look at your own creative projects, whether that be art, writing, coding, game design, or any creative pursuit you could think of, feel free to message or add me on the social media platform of your choice, and I will take a look, maybe leave some comments. So I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.